So when you said the word that this is not a counter-insurgency problem, it's a different problem, what did you mean? This is one answer I would like to have from you.
Yeah, very pinpointed answer. It is a political problem, not a CI problem. And it is also not a ethnicity problem the way it has been built, a religious problem. And I think I must compliment Dr. Ranjan. Frankly, I have not been following him, but today after hearing him, he appears to be very matured. And despite a setback, he was not at all emotional and sentimental. I think he was playing the true leader, which a national leader should be. His maturity was of a very high order. In fact, he needs a compliment for that, and he is very very clear that it is not a religious problem, because a lot of people have also started percolating this as a religious problem, and he has stated that churches and temples have been burned. So it is striking both the communities, and therefore it is basically the mistrust among people that is a problem, and that has been just given a flame of fire because of some political overtures, and political solution has to be there. In fact, I would go to the extent of saying that an all-party delegation, because no, all political parties have to get involved. It is not only a particular party in this country who has to take on this. Yes, it is the basic problem is of the center, but now it has taken such dimension. Matured ministers, matured politicians of all political parties, in fact, they are the ones who can go and heal the local wounds of the people. And that is what is going to bring the people together, because I always keep stating I have been in this area. My Indian Army service started from here. I was in Ukru, Lima Kong, Zakhama, all these areas, Imphal. And the people were so nice. In fact, I found them one of the best people. I've also been in Kashmir, and I could say that the people here just stood out. There was no such problems. Yes, this narrative is being built up by someone of the ethnicity divide. That has to be curbed. And who builds narratives? It is some local politicians because of their vested interest. Sometimes new things are projected. That day I mentioned about the drugs. Today, who's not involved in drugs in Manipur? I can state it very clearly. Of any community, all politicians, everyone gains from this drug deals, etc. This drug trade. So it is not that we blame only one community, and I'm very glad this minister has not blamed any community. This is a problem which has to be resolved politically. One question was raised by Mr. Varghese of the women blockade. I would like to answer that. See, women and children have always been used in many places in the world, and including in India, in Kashmir. Yes, they can block certain routes for supplies, etc., but they cannot hinder the movement of security forces. Security forces, as an infantryman, the infantry is versatile, they are flexible, they are adaptable, they can operate in any area unhindered. So what I'm trying to say is, even if a blockage is there, the terrain permits us to take any route. Always we don't have to go by vehicles. Infantry is foot bound. So I cannot understand how soldiers, some of them have been just shown, and they are calling that they appear to be lost and cannot address a situation. Infantry man cannot be ever blocked. All obstacles are overcome. The Manipuri ladies cannot today blockade the whole of all the roads and everything. It is only few areas they would have blocked. Get down from the vehicle, just short circuit it, and just go on foot. And not only that, you have the local police, the local Assam rifles deployed in villages. There are posts. I've been to these posts. So they are also in the hinterland. And this minister's house, which has been burnt in Kongpa, in fact, this is in the heart of Manipur city, I would say. There's a huge built-up area, so I can't imagine there's not a single security forces. And women, yes, women can only block certain roads to prevent logistic supplies. Soldiers cannot be prevented from their operation. They have got wherewithal. They just dismount. They are, as it is, supposed to operate in foot. I have operated on foot right in the area of Ukhrul. We used to walk to every places. We don't use vehicles, including in Kashmir. I have done 4 tenures.
when we talk about CI issues, we know there's one thing which is happening last 7-8 years. It's internet ban. For 1,000 people to gather when the state is under internet suspension, I think fundamentally the administration has failed. I mean, you've got police in place, you've got administration in place, you've got a complete net structure down, and still people can gather.
Yeah, despite internet ban, people can still come together in large number. And especially this is not very difficult if you live in the valley, because valley is a very congested area. People live in close localities. So gathering, even if internet is banned or even if phone lines are banned, people somehow will manage to gather in the plane. So it is very easy for the people to gather and form a group and then to execute whatever strike or dana that they wanted to put forth. So now we have been stressing on the point of how to bring about peace. So to my mind, peace, not the precondition for peace is that some amount of normalcy has to return to the state. And to be able to do this, I have no other solution. The only thing that come to my mind is that this mob has to be contained. By how it is contained, that is has to be decided, especially by the central government. Now the state government is completely seen as inactive, as in the words of our honorable MP Ranjan Singh. He has also already described. I don't need to reiterate. So there's a complete failure of the state government, which has led to this crisis, which we thought would end within a day or two. So we were in the impression initially that this incident, after its upheaval in the Imphal Valley, we were very hopeful that at least it will not spread beyond Imphal. Now, 40 days has gone by, and we see more and more violence, and the scale and the magnitude is higher and higher and higher. So what to be done? What should we do? Now, we don't have faith in the state. The MPs have lost faith in the state administration. No one, including the citizens, have lost. The cookies have long time have lost their faith on the state administration. So now the only way is to bring back what is called some sort of precedent rule, where there is a sort of rule can be imposed by the central rule system. Now, Major General has raised something. Now we have been stressing too much on the issue of violence. So now General Major has issued who created this ethnic hatred. This is the question I would like to dwell a bit. So as far as I understand, or we understand, Cookies, Meiteis, but even in the hill people, common people, of course, forgetting about the politicians. Politicians, we put them in different levels. People-to-people relationship of Manipur has been ever good, despite whatever small violence we have seen in the past, but it's very good. So the most cookies are able to speak Manipuri, we love to speak Manipuri language. And in one of our many academic gatherings, I said one of the factors for the contribution of Manipuri, growth of Manipuri culture and Manipuri language is we the tribals. Because we the tribals love to speak their language and we love to associate themselves. So from people to people, there is no violence at all. And I have many Meiteis friends all over, and so do Meitei also have friends among the cookies. So there is no doubt among people to people. Now the question is who is fueling this violence? And who is supporting this mob is the question. So one thing that is undisputedly day one or prior to the happening of May 3rd, there is what I describe it as what you call hate language. So hate language has been propagated without control, especially from the so-called people who are in the highest political power. This we could see, we can revisit back into our different channels, and they are there for everyone to see. So this has been doing rounds and rounds. Initially, we thought that, okay, in a very ethnic and polarized and kind of multilingual, multicultural state like Manipur, this happens. So we thought that this was some kind of temporal kind of things that people do just to get some political mileage. But now it turns out that this so-called hatred language, which has been done, was purposely done. So now I come to the conclusion that what I earlier thought was some kind of out of mind thinking, or sometimes as human beings, we tend to speak of something out of our control. So there was the thought that we have, but now it has come to light that some of the hate languages that were used, to me it appears that they were purposely done, and this is the result that we have seen today. So now the question is, unless we find out why these people have been using these hate languages, were there any motive to these languages? And as a language expert, I have repeatedly mentioning language heals and language kills. So now the question is, I see, and there's a lot of what you call so-called fake news on the internet everywhere in the public domain. So most of this foiling has been created by fake news, and I have been again and again requesting my fraternity everywhere around, let us not indulge in hate language. So because language is the fake news that we created can spiral out of control, and this is what exactly we have seen. And this usage of hate language was propagated towards the cookies. And I thought that fine, as I said, this could have been done at a certain point of time, but it has become consistent. And some of the points that we also raised again and again were this. Okay, cookies are also one of the poppy cultivators, so are other poppy cultivators. So if you look at the poppy cultivation at large, this is an international nexus. General knows more than we do. And in fact, the least people who get benefited are the cultivators. But still then, we cookie as a society condemn this cultivation. I've been a rampant, I've been fervent, supporter of erasing this public cultivation. But if you look at economically, forgetting about whether this is legal or illegal, if you forget for the moment and look at the profit and who profited. So legal poppy cultivation involves lots of manuals, lots of salt, tons and tons of salt. Who supplies this? These are all supplied from by the valley people. So the valley people, everybody is all engaged in some way.
I think that's a point, Dr. Pautang Haukup, I completely agree that when it comes to this trade, more than the community, it's the people, the drug lords are involved, and to associate a practice with a community, it's it's like a pre-colonial practice, criminal tribes or denotified tribes which engage in criminal activities. That's a very colonial sort of way of categorizing tribes, nomadic tribes and people in the subcontinent.